So I think we can agree that this kind of change is it's a massive change that has to happen, right? It has to be at a global scale, and you have to get 7+ billion people to agree on, or not 7 billion, but you have to
It
get a
could,
lot of
it
people to
doesn't,
agree on it.
yeah,
Or not agree, but
it
like
doesn't, but
not fight it. Not like you have to make it in such a way that a majority of the people are going to be up for you. Like,
yes, but it doesn't have to be immediately the whole world. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because if it's, let's say it's first US or first EU, whatever, some country makes a move,
right.
makes it more lenient, makes it easier, the others observe, and it observes for itself, and the others observe. Then there is literate studies. I'm not saying, like, maybe they don't open, like we discussed, immediately everything and it's so easy, and I don't know, they do steps. There need to be a lot of smart people to come together and come up with a system. Of course it's not that easy. Like,
Yeah,
we're daydreaming a bit, but we're aware that it's hard.
of course.
And then you see, so it doesn't have to be the whole world at the same time, but people need to be aware enough and interested enough, because like you say, if they are scared, they have zero interest in this.
Yeah, if they don't know what it is you're trying to tell them. That's a lot of the times what I feel like people don't understand what's behind all this movements, all these causes, like good, bad ones. People don't know, and then they're scared. They're like, oh no, that's not for me. And I was talking about change because I feel like during the pandemic, a lot of global change. I mean, not as much as they say, but a lot of global change has happened. But
Mm,
not only because hey, it was a global pandemic. Not only at the global level, it started with like us. Every single individual person suddenly switched their life completely. Like their whole
mm-hmm.
routine just went to shit. That's like literally, that's if you are going to make a massive change in the world, that's one of the only ways, because you need to get people to completely stop what they're doing, change the way they think, and then reintroduce this kind of concept into their lives. Like, hey, look, this is what we could be having if borders were less, and then I think people would listen. Do you think that as a cause of the pandemic, people are going to be more open towards this kind of thinking, or do you think this has anything to do with it? Do you think we're going to have that much like want to travel that we're going to soften it up, or do you think it's going to do the opposite
I don't want to say it will do the opposite, but I think it's
for a bit?
an
It
easy, an easier
doesn't mean
path.
it's
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's the most natural way for it to go, because people could also say, well, look at all this travel. That's what causes pandemics, epidemics, whatever.
yeah,
And then they're like, oh, horrible, we shouldn't do that. So of course it can go that way, and it might, especially now people are still afraid to travel, rightly so, of course, depending on what your
of
view
course,
is on COVID. But people are afraid, and that's fine. It's their health. It should be like, it's normal. um, but this is less about, I mean, it's about travel as tourism too, but it's also about work and where you live. So it's not just about, you
yeah,
know what I mean, it's not just about, oh, I want a vacation and not have to do a visa. No, it's about where I want to live. And if you think for yourself, this is a whole life you build, right? It's
yeah,
one life you have. If we start thinking about that, it's a bit more kind of serious, than just fun travel tourism.
yeah,
It's harder. And so, yeah, I think it can go that way, and it might, and in a way it already has, not only with restrictions, but with the fear people have. But then again, these pandemics, epidemics, these types of crises, they're unprecedented. They're super rare. When was the last 100 years ago, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, right?
yeah,
So that's rare. And you might have to shut down the borders when such an event occurs. Sure, no one is disputing that. You're saving lives, fine. Doesn't mean the rest of the 100 years you need to follow this extreme policy. Like,
right,
when there is war between countries or world wars, there are different policies in place to limit XYZ, I don't know,
of course,
to make the most, to try to survive. uh, doesn't mean that you keep all these crazy policies, or strict, let's say, not crazy, strict policies, when there is peaceful time.
yeah,
So that's just my opinion. But yes, of course, it's probably going to go that way more at first, given the fear of
yeah,
health. And health is, like, for most people, it should be the most important. It's your life. So yeah, it
it
might.
is, yeah. I,
What do you think?
like, I do believe that. Okay, so my view many times, it's I have a split. I don't have a singular point of view on stuff, and sometimes that comes across as like very
I'm the same.
bipartisan,
I
like
get you.
undecided, you know. And I'm like, no, I'm not decided. It's just I don't think that I have all of the facts in order for me to make a solid statement. So I see that I have both a utopia and a dystopia in this. And the dystopia, and this is going to play in because I've seen you working as a content marketer, right, for a VR company. All right.
Yeah.
So I believe that a lot of people right now, I don't know if VR, like everyone's saying the VR is going to be the next thing, like you're going to put your headphones, like your headset on and be whatever the fuck you want in the world. Probably soon, probably. I don't know if that's going to lower the amount of travel, like because people are going to feel like they don't have to go to places anymore. I don't know, maybe in the next 20, 30, we don't know. But I do believe
Hmm.
that at some point, people are going, currently, people are having a mass exodus from like big cities in the United States. Everyone's leaving the big cities.
Right. They're going where there's more nature, no?
Nature, and honestly, like we spent almost half the summer not here, in another place, like in the forest of Connecticut, like next to a river. Like it was middle of nowhere. It was beautiful, and you were so guarded from the rest of it. Like people want to be guarded in, you know. So a lot of people are leaving the cities, and I feel like this is gonna give the cities either a chance to get a lot better, like restructure. Like New York has to do some changes. Everything has to do some changes, or become a ruin forever. I feel like there is like I feel like people are gonna slowly realize that the fast-paced life of a city is not for like everybody, and like everyone has this like fear. Everyone's constant fear right now, like of their money, of their jobs, their health. And if you're in constant fear, you want to eliminate all those. And they're gonna move to like people are just moving, like leaving the city like crazy. And so I do believe that in the next few years, because of that, I feel like the desire of us to move and to keep moving, we're going to space. How are we not going to want to go to another country? You know, like our natural born explorer inside of every one of us is going to want to go and see. And I feel like it's going to end up like in a conflict, and then after that conflict we're going to be able to travel. But I don't feel like it's peacefully going to transition into, hey, suddenly everybody can